Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel. Before we get into this video, there's 3 mini disclaimers that I want to give out. If you can call them disclaimers, don't know if it is a disclaimer, but 3 anyway. Number 1, this video you might be saying, Orion, you've just copied Spencer FC, he done this the other day. Well, you prick. No Spencer, just any pricks who want to write that. I've had this video planned since the start of summer. It's been in my summer schedule. I would say I've got proof to show you, but it's easy enough for me to go in and edit and say, oh, that was there from the start. But take my word for it if you like. That was one of my videos that was planned for the summer. So aye. Up yeah. Number 2 is sorry that most of the teams I'm picking here are the favourites. I mean, at the end of the day, my Scottish Premiership predictions, when I've done that, the favourites were Celtic. I said Celtic. I'm not exactly going to go out and say Aberdeen are going to win the league. So most of the teams are favourites, but I feel like it's just nice to give an insightful opinion on why I think they're going to win the league and why I think it's going to go down like that. And maybe just talk about the opposition a little bit. And third, last thing that I want to say is this is the European top leagues, if you like. One of the leagues I've got here are not the top leagues. It's nowhere near the top league. It's not. But a lot of people were asking for me to do predictions for it, so I'm going to briefly speak about it in this. That league is the Scottish Championship. I'll quickly fly through that for anybody who does not give two flying monkeys, which will be a lot of people probably. Just don't worry, we'll get by that bit quite briefly. But because I'm Scottish, because I do care a little bit, I will talk about it briefly as we start the video. That will be the first league I will get out the way. But anyway, if you do enjoy, make sure to hit like and subscribe, and that I would give a like go, but I'm not into that shit. Just like it if you like it. Anyway, let's head into the first league, which is the Scottish Championship. Okay, so first league, as I said, is the Scottish Championship. We're briefly going to talk about the 2 teams who I think will come up. Well, one of them has not necessarily come up, but one of the teams who I think will get to the playoff final and play the team who finishes second last in the Scottish Premiership. That team, first off, is Falkirk. I think Falkirk, the past couple of seasons, have been unlucky not to come up. The 2015-16 season, they did get to the playoff final where they were beaten off of Kilmarnock. They didn't manage to get up to our league, and last year they missed out as well on the playoffs or the playoff final altogether. This year, I think they're going to get to the playoff final once again. They're one of the stronger squads in the Championship. I feel like it's going to be heavy competition from maybe Morton, though. I was stuck to put Falkirk or Morton. I kind of personally wanted to put Morton, as I would like to see them come up, but I did go with Falkirk in the end. I think realistically they will be the ones who probably have a higher chance of getting to that playoff final spot. Whether or not they win in the playoffs is a different story, depends who they're facing. The last few years, or the last 2 years even, the playoff final has just remained the same team in the league, so the team from the Championship has been beaten off the team in the Premiership, and that's what you expect. The Premiership teams are the stronger sides. So I've went with Falkirk anyway. I just feel like they're a stronger squad and they've been itching to come back up to the top flight the last few seasons. I think they will. And for the winners of the Scottish Championship, I've gone with, I think, the no-brainer in my opinion. I don't see anybody else challenging them to get that top spot. I've went with Dundee United. Incredibly unlucky to not go through in the last round of the Betfred Cup. They're actually against Dundee. They've done well in the Betfred Cup group stage. They managed to top the group. I think Ray McKinnon's got a good squad together. He's brought in the likes of Scott McDonald to help with experience. They've still got some youth out there in the field. I think Dundee United should be coming up and finishing top of that league. Maybe not by a mile, but quite comfortably. And if they don't come up at least, there should be some questions asked of why not, because by far I would say they are the strongest team. Even Inverness, who went down from the Premiership last season, I don't think are anywhere near the quality of Dundee United squad wise, so Dundee United should really be coming up, and I've got Dundee United to win the Scottish Championship. Now, I guess we head on to what the purpose of the video is, the European top leagues. We're going to start with the English Championship. This year, a very interesting year. Now, I don't watch enough of Championship football to appreciate all 24 teams and know enough about all 24 teams, but this season there's a lot of fallen, not fallen giants I'd say, but there's some big clubs down in the Championship who are eager to get back to the top flight. You've got the likes of Aston Villa, you've got Hull, you've got Norwich, you've got Sunderland, all top flight teams usually, especially Sunderland and Aston Villa for example. Aston Villa, former European Cup winners, they will be itching to get back into the top division of English football because it's a very grueling league in the Championship. It's very competitive and I don't enjoy the football necessarily. I feel like it's a league where it doesn't offer much quality player wise and such. And I know I'm saying that as a Scottish Premiership fan, but I mean I'm a Celtic fan and I think Celtic would batter any team in the Championship, just honest opinion. But it's a league that is highly competitive and a lot to talk about coming up. 3 teams come up obviously, 2 automatic promotions and someone who grabs the playoff place. Now I've got 3 teams down here. Number 1, right, the playoff place team, I think the team who are going to win the playoffs, and I may get a lot of slack for this, but it's Aston Villa. I'm sticking with the team who I said originally. I could easily have changed this after the start to the season. I've started with a loss and a draw. They lost last week to whoever they were playing, can't remember, and they drew with Hull in the first game of the season. But Aston Villa have got a really strong side and a manager who should be able to guide them out of the top division. I said Aston Villa from the start, and I easily could have changed after seeing quite a poor start to the season, only getting 1 point out of 6. But I've been nice, I've stuck to my word, and I've went with the team who I originally thought, and I think Aston Villa will manage to get the playoff victory. Obviously Newcastle had a bad start last year and they went and won the title, so I think the first 2 games we can put aside, and Aston Villa have got the squad to go on and hopefully, well not hopefully, I don't care, get to the playoff final, and that's who I'm going to predict wins the playoffs. As for the 2 teams coming up automatically, the first one I'm going to put, and I have to keep glancing, I'm so sorry about that, the first team who I think will come up will be Middlesbrough. Middlesbrough should be coming up. Gary Monk, they've appointed a good manager who almost brought Leeds to the playoffs last year, the playoffs. They've brought him in, they've still got quite a good squad coming down from the Premier League, and I do think they will head right back up to the Premier League. Not much else to add, not a massive Middlesbrough fan, did not enjoy them last season in the Premier League, their football was shite. And I'm not a massive fan, but they should be coming back up, and I do think they will come back up, one of the favourites to, I think a lot of people are saying Middlesbrough come up, which leads me to my last championship team. It's a team who I think should be definitely getting one of the automatic promotions, if not just promotion or questions will be asked, definitely. It's like Dundee United, to be honest. But Wolves surely will be coming up this season. They have spent massively over the past year and a bit since they've got these new owners and they're bringing in players. They've got that Costa, Helder Costa, they've got Ruben Neves, a few other Portuguese guys. They've got a strong squad, they're a big club, and they should be heading up to the top flight, especially after spending so much money on the likes of those players, Ruben Neves and Costa. Ruben Neves is a player who last year was getting linked with £40 million moves to clubs like Liverpool. Now he's at Wolves in the Championship. Quite a bizarre move to me, but if Wolves are making those sort of signings, to me that is a statement that they want to be in the Premier League and should be in the Premier League. So Wolves I'm giving the top spot to. They started off with a win, can't remember what their second result was like, probably another win. But aye, Wolves I think will win the Championship. The Dutch Eredivisie, the top flight of Holland, a league which I feel like gets not as much credit as it deserves. I do enjoy watching the odd Eredivisie game. When I say the odd, I mean once in a blue moon. But it's a league kind of similar to the Scottish League. They have their 3 main teams, just like we have right now at the current minute, Celtic, Rangers and Aberdeen. The third team always kind of flutters in Scotland, but they've got those 3 teams over there which always seem to be the ones contending for the title. We've got Feyenoord, Ajax and PSV, the current champions being Feyenoord, who won it for the first time since 2000, just there that season that passed. A great feat for them. Do I think they can repeat it? No, I don't think Feyenoord will go and win the title again. And in fact, I'm actually going to go with Ajax, who had a very strong season last year. And granted, there's a dog fucking ruining my video. And granted, they've lost a few of their key players, especially one coming to mind being Davy Klaassen. And a couple other guys have been lost here and there. Rijdervold being another one of them. He did play for Ajax, didn't he? I'm sure he did. They've lost a few of their strong players, being relatively young as well. But they've still got a lot of players left over from this season last year. They've got De Ligt at the back, they've got Dolberg up front, they've brought in Klaas-Jan Huntelaar. They do have a very strong side. They also lost their manager Peter Bosz, who went to Dortmund as well. But I feel like the manager shouldn't be making too much of a difference. They'll probably go along with the same style. It was so successful for them towards the end of last season, and it got them to the Europa League final. Well, they didn't give Manchester United the easiest of games as well. So I do think Ajax will win the Eredivisie. PSV won it 2 seasons ago, Feyenoord won it last season. So Ajax really want to win the title again after a couple of years in the dark, and I feel like this is the year they will do it. They've got a lot of players who have developed into something great. Matthias de Ligt being the main one coming to my mind. So I think Ajax will walk away with the Eredivisie this season. Ligue 1, no question, has to be PSG. And if PSG don't win Ligue 1, it is criminal. It's a criminal offence. Questions will be coming left, right and centre at everyone involved with PSG. They have just spent a ridiculous amount of money on a squad, and it doesn't look as though they're done. £200 million for Neymar. Baffles me how they get away with that sort of stuff if financial fair play is a thing, and I do see the logistics around it that does get them away with it. I understand it, just don't think they should be allowed to get away with it. Neymar has been brought in. They're spending these mass amounts of money. They've brought in Dani Alves, such an experienced player. He's won 3-4 Champions Leagues, whatever, as well. They have got a squad which is impeccable and cannot be beaten. And the main competition, Monaco, have been stripped of all their best players. If Monaco manage to beat PSG to the title this year, it will be stuff. It'll be just Hollywood type stuff, because PSG now have a squad that should be challenging for the Champions League as well. PSG, no question, have to win Ligue 1. If they don't, fuck knows what's happened over there. It's probably some sort of, you know, mishap with team chemistry and such. But Neymar should be tearing that league apart, because Ligue 1, not the best of leagues to me. I think it's dog shite. But aye, anyway, PSG have to be winning that league. The Serie A going through a little bit of a renaissance, could you say? They're one of the top teams, AC Milan, trying to climb their way back to the top with having a marvellous transfer window. AC Milan having just bringing in all these new players to completely do up the team from back to front, along with the good players they already had, such as Donnarumma. You know, they've brought in all these players and they're really establishing what they want to do. They want to be back being the top team in Italy. Will they start being the top team in Italy again? I don't think so, not yet. I think it's going to take them a year or two. Juventus should be winning the title, and I've got Juventus to win. Their closest competition could be Lazio, could be AC Milan, it should be AC Milan. Juventus did just lose the other night there to Lazio in the Super Cup. Maybe a sign of things to come. Maybe Juventus going down the slope a little, but I doubt it. Don't think they'll take their foot off the gas. They're still a top side. Just got to the Champions League final as well. Italy is still their league and still will be for the next season or two, until AC Milan maybe gel it together. I could be wrong. This season AC Milan could really take us all by surprise and go straight for the title. I think a lot of people are looking for them to do it and expecting them to do it with the money they have spent on such an array of players who can play in all sorts of positions. But Juventus are still a top class side and still have some of the finest players in the world. The league is still theirs. It will be for another wee while. It's got to be Juventus for the Serie A. La Liga. Everybody seems to say it's the best league in the world. I don't agree, but I'm going to give my predictions anyway. Still obviously a top league. Massive league. Great league. I just don't think it's as good as people say it is. Ronaldo, Messi, all these players. Neymar's just left. Who will win it this year? It's got to be Real Madrid, for the main fact they are the best squad in world football right now. They've got probably arguably the best manager as well, up there with Mourinho and Guardiola already, after only managing for a few short years. And obviously he's been flung into a job where he's given all this money and all these great players. But for someone to go and win the Champions League twice in their first 3 or 4 seasons of management, doesn't matter who you are, that is impressive. I don't care what anyone says. You could be given the Manchester United job, the Real Madrid job, the fucking Preston North End job. If you go and win 2 Champions League titles, no matter how much money you're given, it shows that you are somewhat tactically very, very good and a very good manager to manage a squad to have that sort of level to win the Champions League twice in 3 years. Zinedine Zidane has nailed it with Real Madrid, and he will do for a long time in my opinion. I think Real Madrid, there's no team in Spain even close to the quality of Real Madrid and the chemistry of Real Madrid. It's such a fine team, and they've got the best player in the world in my opinion, Cristiano Ronaldo. And overall, there's not a bad player in the park. Whereas Barcelona have just lost Neymar, so they've not got someone yet on that left-hand side of the park who can supply as good a quality as someone like Bale or Ronaldo, who plays on the wings for them. But as I was saying, Barcelona not anywhere near. I think they've just degraded so much, and I think Barcelona's era of dominance has just went. It's over, I think, and Real Madrid are coming back to being that top team in Spain again. Well, they haven't been up until Zidane was the manager. Barcelona obviously running the show over there between the two sides for a long time. But Real Madrid will easily win the league this year, I think, in La Liga. Barcelona maybe right to the end again, just like last year. It took up to the final day for Real to secure it, but I feel it'll be a bit more comfortable for Real this year. In my opinion, the best league in the world, maybe sitting best behind the BPL, but I feel like the BPL always does get overrated. I love watching Bundesliga football, and the Bundesliga, this is the thing that annoys me. Everyone always goes on about how Scottish football is run by one team, when Bayern Munich have won the league 5 times, and they're definitely going to make it 6 in a row. Without a doubt, I don't see how they can't win 6 in a row. They are such a big club, contender for the Champions League. Their team is impeccable. Their manager is Carlo Ancelotti. They're just a great team. They're going to win it. There's no discussion. I'm a big Dortmund fan. I like Borussia Dortmund, and you people who watch me regularly know that. I like Borussia Dortmund. But just because I like them, I'm not going to say they're going to give Bayern Munich that much of a challenge this year. Dortmund have got a new manager. They're going to probably lose Ousmane Dembele by the looks of things to Barcelona. They've got a little bit to do just to get up to that level again at Bayern Munich. They really need the. It comes down to the same thing. I think Jurgen Klopp brought such a passion and togetherness with the Dortmund team that I feel like that's what they're going to need again to challenge. They need another Lewandowski. They need a Lewandowski. They need a Mats Hummels, and they've just not got that at the minute. In fact, they're over at Bayern Munich, winning the league for them, and they're going to do it again this year easily. Bayern Munich for Bundesliga champions. Which leads me on to the big ones, the actual European club competitions. It involves all the clubs in Europe, and first off we'll start with the smaller one, the one that Manchester United are the current holders of, the Europa League. This one was very difficult for me, and see, the thing is with the Europa League, it's hard to predict who's going to win it, because teams from the Champions League can obviously drop down from finishing third in their group stage, where someone like upsetting could happen. Something like Real Madrid could finish third in their group and head into the Europa League, and if they did, they would tear the competition apart and win it. They probably wouldn't care about it, but they would win the competition easily if they were somehow to finish third in their group, which won't happen. But if it was to happen, it's hard to predict. But right now, of the current teams available in the Europa League, for me, it's got to be Arsenal. And it's not just because they're the best and most reputable team in the full tournament, but it's the fact that they really do need to win this, I think, in my opinion, along with having a strong actual competitive showing in the league. I feel like Arsene Wenger has went so long without anything really big. Like, an FA Cup's good, but without a league title, without any European finals and stuff like that he'll really be hungry for this, and Arsenal fans will be really hungry for it as well, and I feel like they should be doing what Manchester United done last year and winning it. That's not to say I don't think they'll go down the same route by finishing 5th, 6th or whatever in the league and winning the Europa League to get into the Champions League. They could do it if things go horrifically wrong by Christmas. They could say, right, fine, let's just concentrate on winning this Europa League. But they are by far and miles the biggest team in this tournament and should be going to win it. Maybe bar AC Milan. But if it was down to an AC Milan and Arsenal final, I'd still have my money in Arsenal. And a lot of people might disagree with me there, but I feel like Arsenal should be the team going on to win it. A lot of people might not agree with me on who should win the Europa League or who will win the Europa League, but Arsene Wenger, I think, will be really demanding a lot from his team to go and win this tournament. It really does rely on fitness as well. Arsenal always have some bad injury problems, but I think they'll do it. And on to the big one, the Champions League. Who do I think will win the Champions League 2017-18? It's got to be undoubtedly Celtic. I mean, how can you write off a team who just went invincible last season and won a domestic treble? I'm joking, by the way. I want to underline it right now. I'm fucking kidding, of course. I'm joking. I'm not that fucking deluded. Anyway, the winners of the Champions League for me, and I've said it in the video, it's got to be the best team in the world, Real Madrid. They're unstoppable. They're crazy. Their strength, their depth, everything about Real Madrid is insane, and they might get put out of some semi-finals, might even get beaten in the final, surprisingly, if they do. Bayern Munich's still up there, Juventus is still up there, but I think they can pick these teams apart, just like they picked Juventus apart in the final just there. I think they're too good at the current minute. I don't know how long they're going to be so dominant for, and this year they could get picked down a peg, who knows? We could see a bloody Chelsea, Man United or someone, an English club, knock them out. Highly doubt that, but you never know. But right now, I've got to go with Real Madrid, no matter if they're the favourites or not. I don't know how you can doubt them. There could be a couple of dark horses in there, maybe Atletico again getting to the final, but for me, I mean, 3 finals, 3 Champions Leagues have won in the past 4 years. They are crazy right now, a great strength of team, and I think it will be another Champions League for them this year. Under Zinedine Zidane. I think it's as easy as that. Champions League, they will win it for me. If you've enjoyed this video, if you enjoyed my predictions, if you agree or disagree, let me know who you think will win all these competitions. I hope you have enjoyed, ladies and gentlemen. If you did, like and subscribe, all that good stuff. And I'll see you all later.